they stunk. The pass rush for the Bears, they have stunk all year. They got to Stafford 4 times today. What is Seattle going to do to them next week? I wouldn't be surprised if they're at least a 4.5-point favorite. I'll shut up and get y'all's thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Golden. We'll see. You know, the Rams moved the ball up and down on the Seahawks the last time they played. Their ability to score was not the issue in Seattle, so we'll see. I agree that Matthew Stafford did not have a good night tonight. This was not your classic Matthew Stafford game, but I do understand the impulse to keep him on the sidelines if you're the Bears, because even if he's having a night that's less than perfect, he's still Matthew Stafford, and at any point he could make a play, he could make a throw, he could do something to beat you in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, but Stafford's going to have to be a guy next week.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be a guy. He's going to have that 300-yard, 3-touchdown game, and the defense is going to have to get stops. And I don't think they'll find stops through, interceptions by a overly aggressive head coach or quarterback, even though Sam Darnold fits the bill 1,000,000,000%.
Yep.
But watching Seattle lately, it feels like Kenneth Walker's been a guy.
He's been good.
He's been a guy who's felt like he hasn't been getting the amount of carries he deserves.
If I see a kick inbounds to Rashid Shaheed, that's hard for me to say, then they're doing it wrong, because we saw what he did to open the game against San Francisco. But look, I think, like you just mentioned boxing a second ago, I'll make another boxing analogy. Styles make fights, right? That just because what works really well over here against you doesn't mean it's going to work really well over there against them.
Yeah.
What the Rams do defensively to Sam Darnold does work. They've given him all sorts of issues over the years. Even in that game that they lost in overtime, keep in mind, that game got real weird on a 2-point conversion, and then it kind of went haywire after that. But I don't mind playing the Seattle Seahawks. I think that they're the 2 best teams. I said it to you at some point. I said, that's the one team. I think if the Rams played the Seahawks 10 times, I think they win 5 of them.
Yeah.
I just feel like they are
what do you
really
think the
evenly
spread will
matched.
be? What do you think the spread will be? 3?
No, I think it'll be less than that. I think it'll be less than a field goal. I think it'll be somewhere in the 2 to 2.5 range. I think that's probably where it's going to be.
At home
that's
for
why,
Seattle?
That's why I think Seattle gets the 3 or the 2.5 is because they're at home. But I like the matchup for the Rams. I like the experience that Sean McVay is going to bring into this. It's there's a lot of indicators that are in the Rams' favor. Now, they're going to need to be way better than they were today.
100%.
Matthew Stafford needs to be a lot better than he was today.
More targets.
Devontae didn't have a catch until the fourth quarter. Now, he made an incredibly acrobatic catch towards the end there in overtime, but Devontae was pretty darn quiet, all things considered.
Yeah, that's a little surprising, and I'm going to ask Maurice about that next week, because it makes me feel like maybe his hamstring ain't really – because at first, when they played Carolina, I'm thinking, Mike Jack and J.C. Horn strapped Devontae.
Yeah.
It was all day. Every time they threw to Devontae, it was like he was triple covered. Like he couldn't get any separation. And we see it today. He doesn't get more than 2 or 3 targets till almost halfway through the game. And it's like, is he still dealing with something?
5 targets, but just 2 catches for just 24 yards along the way. And again, it wasn't just Devontae. Everybody, nobody really had the big day. Statistically speaking, maybe the Rams running backs were the best guys, and in particular, Kyron Williams, 87 yards on 21 carries, over 4 yards per carry. But Puka only had 58 yards. Colby Parkinson had 56 yards. Jordan Whittington was your 3rd leading receiver with 35 yards. It's not like they had, they only scored 20 points. This was not a high-scoring game. No. Maybe the weather had a lot to do with it, but this did not look like the Rams offense that we've seen more or less all season long.
Yeah, 14 of those points came from 2 drives that had 14 plays each.
Yeah.
So when it worked, it was really working. And when it didn't work, it was quick. It was, 3 and out.
Yeah, look, the Rams can go into Seattle and win the game. There's no doubt in my mind. Seattle's also really, really good. I'm going to steal Sean McVay's line. The opponent gets a say in this as well. This is why these are the 2 teams that had the shortest odds to win the Super Bowl. These are the 2 favorites. These are the 2 teams that came out at the top in the best division in football. They played 2 games. Both of them came down to the very last play in both of those games. I think it's going to be absolutely crazy up in Seattle. And they'll play 3:30 on Sunday as well. They get the same time slot that they had today. And I would be really surprised if it doesn't come down to, the last possession of the game one way or the other.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fourth quarter drive with somebody down with a chance to win it. If it's Sam or Stafford, who knows? But it's going to be a 4-quarter game.
If the Rams get into a situation like they had Caleb Williams on that 4th down play, they're going to win the game. Like Sam Darnold is not going to be able to pull rabbits out of his hat the way that Caleb Williams is. He's a different sort of quarterback. They're far more capable of creating problems for him than they are for somebody that can move like Caleb. And look, they gave up 17 points, and really 7 of them came on what, for all intents and purposes, was a Hail Mary. They kind of gave up 10 points as far as like the traditional plays go. They gave up some yardage. They gave up some disappointing plays, but they really didn't get gashed for a bunch of points today.
And the Rams are the only team, I believe, or one of the few teams that can score in Seattle. They have played in the 30s, I believe, in both games.
Yeah, they lost 38 to 37,
right,
and they won 22 to 19 or something like that. But I've said all season long, after having seen the Rams play the Seahawks twice, the Rams and the Seahawks played 10 times. I think it's 5-5. I really do believe that. I think that they are incredibly evenly matched. This is how evenly matched they actually are. They've split their season series 1 game apiece. The Rams in those 2 games scored 58 points. The Seahawks scored 57 points. The total yards for the Rams in those 2 games, 830 yards gained. The Seattle Seahawks, 829 yards gained. So 1 point and 1 yard has been the difference between these 2 games. That's how evenly matched these teams are. The winner will go to Super Bowl season.
No, you're wrong. You're mistaken.
What am I wrong about?
Your blue hair, your old age, and lack of nutrition has gotten to you. Because the Rams are the greatest team on the planet. What are we talking about? What we just saw was a masterclass in football these last 16 years. I have never seen greater NFL football played greater. That's the greatest quarterback play I've seen. That's the greatest run game I've seen. That is the best defensive showing since the Bears, the Ditka Bears.
What are we doing here?
No, apparently I've been made aware of my comment of how I'm talking about the Rams in the comments. There's a lot of grown people crying and complaining, saying, well, this guy's not tap dancing enough for my team. Shut up. Shut up.
They're in the NFC Championship game. That's
You're
pretty
in the
good.
NFC Champ. I've been at the studio since 1, okay? I haven't eaten since 10 a.m. on 2 Arrowhead waters deep, okay? I'm hangry.
I can get you a snack if you need it.
I saw you have a bag of munchies, too. I saw the little, the spicy munchies,
so
too.
It's not a made-up story. I'm hungry in here, okay? And I got people, he's not, shut up. I talk the same about USC, okay? I'm a realist.